For the past few weeks, we've been invited to meditate on the message from the Gospel of St. Mark. Mark is the shortest of the four Gospels. It has been described as a passion narrative with an introduction. Mark's Gospel begins not with the birth of Jesus, but with the preaching of John the Baptist, chronologically some 30 years or so after Mary gave birth. Mark seems like a guy who wants to get to the point. A lot of people like that. In his gospel, Mark details that Jesus' way to glory will always be in the shadow of the cross. And this is true not only for him, but for those who choose to follow him. In the gospel today, even though James and John had twice heard about the cross, they still dare to ask to have privileged seats when Jesus comes into his glory. Again and again, Jesus teaches that true greatness lies not in power or in prestige or in authority, but in the humble service one can offer to another. This lesson is always difficult to learn, but Mark constantly tries to remind his disciples, like us, to let go of the desire for personal gain. The rather self-serving request of James and John causes anxiety among their companions. And Jesus warns his disciples that they have embarked on a new path. They are not to be like those rulers who lord their authority over those who are subject to them. Instead, Jesus invites them to turn their ambition for greatness into an energy for service, and tells them that he came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. I think that the desire of the Lord to serve has concrete applications to those of us who try to follow him. He still wants to serve, and we become the way he continues to do this. We become the way he continues to serve his people. And by doing that, we let ourselves be the channel of his peace and of his service. And that makes things a lot easier than thinking that we have to do it on our own. I have come to serve and not to be served. He continues to be served in the world by how we allow him to flow through us to touch a world so in need of mercy, to touch a world so in need of strength, to touch a world so in need of hope. Bishop Berberian, who's a very famous author, describes a poignant part of this particular gospel. The two disciples wanted to be one on the left and one on the right. They wanted to be part of that kingdom. Bishop Berberian says, and who ended up being on the left and the right of Jesus? Those two who were murdered with him, those two who took the cross, those two who one accepted the gift of the kingdom and one chose not to. That's why the cross is always part of who we are. The cross is always part of who we must be, so the Lord can continue to serve us. Amen.